What's up, team? Welcome to the Crossroads Summer Camp 2024 information video. Isn't that exciting? I am excited to be taking your student to camp, and we've done this the past several years. This information video, it's a lot more conducive with the size of our group just to have send out this video rather than trying to schedule a meeting. And so this should have all of the necessary information that you'll need for your student as we head into camp. We're about a week and a half away, and very excited. And so we're actually taking our largest group we've ever taken to camp. 74 students are going. That's about 20 more than we've ever taken. And I'm very excited your students are part of it. And so hopefully you'll find this video helpful. I'll try to be brief and walk through some things that will give you some great information as we head into summer camp. So let's jump in and we'll get it going here. So the first thing, if you're not on our Nebo Crossing Group Me app, make sure you get on that. That's where we'll be doing all the communication during camp. I'll be posting highlight pictures on there. Our leaders will be posting on there. And so that's a great resources. With everything that I'm going to mention, this is just a helpful thing. I will put in the description of the video all of this information as well. So all the links I referenced, the group me and the things to come, I'll put in the description of this video as well as posting it in the group me app for you to access. And so that's where all of that will be on there. And so make sure you're on our group me. I will also include several, the Crossroads Summer Camp that we're going to, they provide several helpful links for families, packing list. I'll include the list on there. On that, it has all the information that you need on some of those things. They have an event guide, which kind of helps you walk through what are some frequently asked questions, what is my student going to be doing at camp. They also have a list of camp rules. Please read over those camp rules. They're pretty straightforward. They're pretty much don't vandalize, don't punch people in the face, all of those things. But they are important. I am going to ask our students that they maintain the camp rules. And then it also has a sample schedule on there as well. And so something to highlight as far as packing goes, past the general packing list, we always like to do theme nights for our group. So each of the nightly services, we'll do a different theme night, just promotes community and camaraderie. These are completely optional. Don't feel like you have to spend a bunch of money, but a lot of students have a great time doing these theme nights. And so the theme nights our students have chosen, we let them vote in this past team class. The theme nights they chose for this year are Monday. We are doing Merica Monday night. So think American flag, think bald eagles, think anything patriotic. You can wear that, which will work perfect. We're close enough to 4th of July. It'd be a lot of fun on that. So Monday, Merica Monday night. Tuesday, we are doing Christmas in July. This was actually the #1 requested theme this year. Christmas in July. So just wear something Christmas related. I will wear some sort of Christmas sweater with the sleeves cut off because it's too hot. But so Christmas related there. Wednesday, we are bringing back a theme we did last year, which was Wild Wild West Wednesday. This is a cowboy theme. A lot of students had a lot of fun dressing up with the cowboy gear. And then Thursday, we will do a neon glow night. So think bright neon colors and all of that stuff. So again, completely optional. If you're like, man, we don't want to do any of that, or that's not my students' thing, that's fine. The majority of our students do participate, and it's a lot of fun on that. And so that's just something that you might pack for on there. Another thing that you might just consider packing for is the camp offers a color war throughout the week. And so this is kind of a messy game. There's a lot of paint and color powder and slime involved, and the students love it. It's quite enjoyable. And so, but it might be something that you bring some clothes they just don't care about on that type of deal. And so, so look at those links as far as packing, the event guide, camp rules, the schedule, and all of that stuff. I think you'll find super helpful. If you have any additional questions, please let me know on all of that. Let me give you some notes just briefly on the day that we are leaving for camp. And so, we're going to meet at the church at 11:15 on that Monday. And let me explain what that means, because sometimes people think that we're pulling out at 11:15. We are not pulling out at 11:15. There's a whole process in order to get that many people loaded up and checked in and all this stuff. And so we will probably not leave until around 12. That's by design. I don't like to be rushed when I'm leading such a group that's that large, and you leave bags and all that stuff. And so meet at the church at 11:15. This will be a check-in. We will load up all the luggage. Our prayer team will be on site with some of our staff as well to pray over the students before we leave. I'll give some final instructions and all of that. And then we'll pull out at about 12 o'clock on that Monday. And so a couple things just to note on that. As far as how many bags we request, especially with this many students and people going, limit yourself to one bag. This does not have to include your bedding. Your bedding doesn't have to be in the bag, but limit yourself to one bag and a bedding. If you bring a backpack or something like that, that's fine. I'm just going to ask the student to hold that on the trip. It's about a 2-hour drive to the camp. And so that'll just help us. We have a trailer, we have some options on that, but just helps us. We don't need every person bringing 3 and 4 bags to camp on something like that. And then when you check in your student on that day, we'll have some people with a clipboard and their name. Just make sure we know about any medications, any classes. Sometimes teenagers have to do driver's ed or summer classes or anything like that. And so let us know, and so we can set them up for success for all of those things. We'll also give them their camp t-shirt then, camp journal. And so we have a kind of a thorough process when it comes to the day of camp and leaving. Many of you are familiar with that, but if it's your first time, you'll get to experience that as well. So 11:15 on Monday is when we are leaving. That'll be the 8th, and excited for that. And so I mentioned earlier the camp rules. Those are Crossroads Summer Camp rules. Make sure you read through those. But I have a few rules that we have kind of established over the years that are Nebo crossing rules. And so nobody's above these rules. We hold our students to these rules, and we'll do so again this year. But I like to be upfront with people and just let them know, hey, here are our expectations for your students. They're pretty straightforward. They're pretty simple. But we do hold them as a standard. And so let me run through those just so you know what to expect. Please share these with your student so they know what to expect. I found that teenagers operate well when the expectations are clear. And so here are our camp rules. Number 1, and we mentioned this several times, but we do not allow the student to bring a cell phone. We value, one of the secret sauces of the camp is that week long of unplugging, getting away from all the phones, all the distractions, and being able to focus on relationships and God. And we've seen a great success on that. And so I have instructed my leaders, if your student brings their phone, we will take their phone. We'll do it lovingly, but we do not let students have phones. Obviously, if they need it I know people have used it for classes or driver's ed or something like that, that would be fine. We will just hold it until they need it and then take it back when they are done. And so no cell phones is a policy. Another rule we do is no guy and girl contact. I know when it comes to dating relationships and all sorts of things, there's a lot of different fluctuation when it comes to standards or hand holding, all that. And so we just make it simple at camp and just go, hey, while you're at camp, while you're under the direction of our leadership, there is no guy and girl contact at camp. One rule that we're really big on, and it's kind of I don't know, it's an interesting rule, but it's something that I think is very helpful and we've seen a lot of success is we participate in as much as possible. You all paid a expensive amount for your student to go, and so I want to make sure they enjoy it. And so barring physical limitations, barring physical restrictions or anything like that, I very much highly encourage the students to, whatever we're doing, we're all in. Whether that's the service, we get there early and we make sure we have a good seat. Whether that's a game we're playing, we have a good attitude and we participate as much as possible. Another rule, and this is one rule that I'm very serious about, and I want you to know that, there is a certain time when we're supposed to go back to the dorms and hang out there, and then there's a lights out time after that. Once we're in the dorms, nobody leaves the residence halls. And so I do want you to know this is a rule that I have sent students home for. I don't like to do that, but it is something that I treat that seriously because I don't need to be looking for a student at 2 a.m. I need to go, hey, we're back in the dorms, we're staying there at that point. And the same thing with the lights out. Once it's lights out time, we try to make it to where you don't leave the room at that point. And so if you have any questions on those rules, let me know on that. And then the last rule, one that we kind of have here, especially, and this is important, especially with a group as large as we'll have this year, is no one goes anywhere alone. I have 9 leaders going with us this year, including myself, and so I'm very excited about that. Our hope as a leader is we're going to try and be, if a student is going somewhere, we want to be in that vicinity, be in that eyesight. But sometimes it's just not possible with that many people. And so our rule is you have to have a group of 5 or more in order to go somewhere. And you need to tell the leader where you're going. We need to know when you're coming back. We need to know all the plans and those things. And so just know that these are our expectations of a student while they're there. And hopefully that makes sense. And if you have any questions on these rules, let me know on there. And so let me explain just one thing, just from if there's a problem standpoint. Every now and then we have problems at camp. It's not common, but it does happen. There's a lot of people, a lot of dynamics. And so I want you to know how we lead, how I have led and will continue to lead our camps when there is a problem. If it's a minor problem, so think sprained ankle, grumpy attitude, they need to drink more water, minor problems we will handle. I'm not going to call you with every little minor problem on that, because we treat this as a responsibility. We can handle, we've taken some great leaders, and we can handle minor problems. If it shifts into a major problem, for instance, sneaking out in the late at night, or a broken bone, we've had broken bones at camp, or something that vandalism, a major problem, at that point, I'm going to shift to you. I'm going to give you a call on that and let you handle the student from there on some of those things. And so obviously we'll work with you on both accounts, but I just like you to know. And so that way you kind of have peace of mind. If you're not hearing from me, there's no major problems. We've got it. And if you are hearing from me, then it might be a major problem, something that we need to work through together on that. I want you to know I'm going to do the exact same thing when it comes to the spiritual dynamic. I don't betray a student's confidence when it's minor things. Hey, I want to confess this sin. Hey, I'm really mad at my parents. I'm not calling you on those type of things. But if it does tend to, and this happens quite regularly, if it does tend to, the conversation lends to abuse or self-harm, or even something that's life-altering, like, hey, I'm struggling with drugs or what have you, I will let you know on those things. And I tell the student, hey, I'm going to give you the opportunity to tell your parents, but I'm going to follow up with them as well and see how this conversation is going. And so I just want you to know where we stand for them. I like to be upfront with our expectations. And I tell the students, like, within these parameters, we're going to have, there's a lot of room to have a lot of fun, and camp is a lot of fun, but we do have these expectations that we don't budge on and we don't apologize for, because we've seen the fruit of them and success of them. And so those are the camp rules. Let me push just one thing, just from a pastor heart to families. Camp is just a tool. The discipleship for your students starts in your home. I have watched many times students who go to camp, they have a taste of the spiritual moment with God, and they come home to a home that is just kind of dead spiritually. And it's tough, because they're trying to continue a fire. And so let me just push a little bit and say, don't let that be the case for your home. Make a decision now to step into the family spiritual dynamic that is part of camp and part of the discipleship of your child. Under that, this is something new. We didn't do this last year, but I have included several resources that I highly recommend you checking out. One of them is a parenting guide. It's called A Season of Parenting, and it actually has some great resources for discipling your student and engaging them with questions regardless of their age. It's got middle school questions, got teenage questions, got even all the way up to 18. Got articles you can read, resources. Also, it's definitely something that you want to check out. The link for that is in the description as well. I included a 5-day Bible reading plan. Maybe you're not in the habit. We get busy as adults. Maybe you're not in the habit of reading your Bible. This is a 5-day parenting reading plan. That's in the description as well. One thing that is vastly neglected in the life of parents is just pausing to worship. And so maybe you need to engage your own heart. Part of what makes camp so special is these students who unplug and engage in worship on a regular basis. And so There's a worship video that I use quite a lot just to center my heart, bring me into a space of prayer. And it's just some music and just some singing. And so maybe check on that link down there and use that. Find a time where you're praying for your student, praying for your home, and use that worship to guide you there. And then the last thing I'll include in there is just a message from a speaker and teacher that I appreciate on cultivating spiritual hunger. It's a message entitled God Comes Where He's Wanted, talking about revival, talking about how do we revive the things inside of us. That's what we're trying to do for your student at camp. Give them a taste of God so they'll want more and ask Him deeper into their life. And we want the same for you as the families. And so the last information that I'll add on here is just contact information. You can see the list of our chaperones. We've got some incredible leaders that are going with us this year. I'm very excited about that. And all of our cell phone numbers are on there. We'll be at Anderson University. That's where the camp is. That contact and address is on that description as well as the Crossroads Summer Camp information. And so, families, I love you. I'm very excited. As we get closer to camp, if you have any more questions, just reach out to me. And we're excited. Ready or not, here camp is coming. And I am trusting God to do some amazing, amazing things in the lives of our students. I love you all.